Welcome back, Pokemon fans. Angel of the Night here. We are back again with another viewer battle, and today's battle is versus Sharkjira. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I forgot who this person is. I can't match up the in-game name with a stream name, so please let me know if this is you in the comment section below. We both lead off here with Grimmsnarls, and they've gone in for the fake out. They've actually flinched my Grimmsnarl, so of course I cannot get the fake out. But we do have the light screen and the reflects, and then of course we also have one attacking move that we can actually dish out some damage with. So we've locked in with the reflect here, if I'm not mistaken, so that way we can resist any kind of physical damage for the entire team. They've gone in for the fake tears, and of course it doesn't affect my Grimmsnarl here. So that actually is going to work out very well for me because we actually have now just got the reflect off. And then of course we are also going to be able to set up the light screen as well to boost up our special defensive values for the entire team. They're going to go in for the Spirit Break, and of course that is a physical attacking move, so we are going to resist it just a little bit. They're going to drop our special attack, but of course that's not really going to matter here. We are going to go in, I believe it's for the Play Rough at this time. Spirit Break coming back in again here, dishing out some more damage into my Grimmsnarl, and then of course that is again lowering the special attack. I'm really glad I didn't swap out to another Pokemon, but we're going to go in for the Play Rough. It's super effective. Actually manages to take out his Grimmsnarl, but also as well, they had the Rocky helmets that is actually going to be able to pick up the KO onto my Grimmsnarl. So not only do we both lead off the exact same Pokemon, but we also managed to KO each other. Quite funny, actually. Next Pokemon that we're going to see here on my side is I'm going to go in with a Gengar. And the reason I'm going to go with Gengar is because right now I've got the screens up, we've got the reflect, we've got the light screen up. That's going to be able to boost up both stats of my Gengar in this turn. Gengar, of course, very speedy, has the capability of doing massive special attack damage. My opponent is actually going to come in with a Chansey. And I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't really battled a whole lot of Chansey lately, but most of them usually tend to run like Evolite with like soft boileds and like seismic tosses and thunder waves and all that good stuff. I decided, you know what, I'm going to try to maybe get some damage off, or might try to go for like a paralysis off onto this Chansey. If I can get like a decent thunder wave off onto it, I might be able to pick up some hacks as we actually go through the battle, maybe get some paralysis. But we do manage to lock into the Thunder Wave here. Not really sure what to expect from Chansey against Gengar because, I mean, it is a normal type Pokemon. It doesn't really have a whole lot of moves that are really going to affect the Gengar. It does go for the Icy Wind, though, and that does a little bit of chump damage, but it does lower our speed. So that could be the play here. Could be trying to lower the speed of the Gengar so that way it can actually go through and dish out like ton of damage as we go through here. We do have the Focus Blast for this specific situation for when we're up against like normal type Pokemon or even like steel type Pokemon, because, you know, we do need to be able to get some sort of damage off. They've ended up going in for the Metronome here. They actually pulled off a Facade. Can't really hit Gengar because we are just Ghost type, right? Normal can't hit Ghost. We ended up going to go in for another Focus Blast here. We actually end up missing the Chansey. Chansey is also paralyzed due to the Thunder Wave, which is fantastic for us. We're going to go in for the Sludge Bomb next. It's basically going to be able to hit and make some damage as we go through here. Obviously, we can't get any kind of poison because it's already paralyzed, but that's perfectly fine. Sludge Bomb isn't really going to do very much to him here, so we actually end up going back to the Focus Blast. That actually does a decent amount. They've gone in for a Icy Wind that is going to, again, do little damage, but it is going to drop our speed, so now we're at -2. Not really good for the whole Gengar situation here, especially if another Pokemon comes in that's faster. Reflect is actually worn off at this time, so now we are capable of receiving more physical damage as we go. We're going to lock in here with another Focus Blast and hope that we're going to be able to pick up the KO onto that Chansey. So here we go. There's the Focus Blast. We do miss the Chansey this turn around. And then, of course, Chansey is also paralyzed there once again. Can't actually pull off any kind of a move. So luckily for us, the Thunder Wave actually was quite helpful. It is basically getting a little bit of health there back from the Black Sludge. And, of course, here we go with the final Focus Blast, able to pick up the KO off onto the Chansey and knock it out. All right. Get little water here as we actually go through the commentaries. I've been doing massive amounts of commentaries here as we've been doing these battles. I've actually did about 28 videos in the last 2 days, and I'm actually going through and doing some mass commentaries. So just bear with me here if I, stop or pause. So in comes a Slowbro. Now, Slowbro, of course, being a water and psychic type Pokemon. This is the Cantonian version, and it actually has some pretty decent special defensive stats as well as some pretty decent HP. So it can actually take a pretty good hit. We're going to swap out Gengar here at this time because obviously I'm a poison type as well as Ghost. I don't really want to receive any kind of psychic damage off onto the Gengar at this time. That's going to actually give the Slowbro the ability to go for a Amnesia, which is actually going to be able to boost up its special defensive stats. So we do bring in our Kilowattrel here, and of course Kilowattrel does have the Thunderbolt. This should actually be super effective onto it because it's actually a water type Pokemon on the opposing side. He ends up going in for another Amnesia here, which is also going to be able to boost up his special defense there once again. So if I'm not mistaken, he's actually at +2 right now. Getting a little bit of leftovers as time goes on. We're going to lock in yet again for another Thunderbolt. We're just going to try to dish out as much damage as possible here with this Kilowattrel just while we can. We're going to receive a Psychic attack, and that's actually going to take us right down into the yellow zone. Slowbro is actually going to regain some health here with the leftovers. And of course now at this time I have to debate, am I going to go for another Thunderbolt, or am I going to go for the Tailwind? So I kind of opted in for the Thunderbolt at this time, and I'm really glad that I did because it actually picked up the actual KO here. So we actually got 3 Pokemon out on the opposing side. We still have Gengar and Kilowattrel, and 3 other fresh Pokemon. So our opponent here is going to make a decision here shortly on what Pokemon is going to come in. He's going to bring in a Pokemon called Ooger Booger. Sounds like a very Halloween type nickname. It's going to be oh my gosh, it's going to be a Goodra. How could I forget Goodra's name? I don't often see Goodra like this anymore. It's usually the Hisui Goodras that I see. I managed to get the Tailwind off here. That's going to boost up the speed of my entire team. And they've gone in for the Acid Spray. That does very minimal damage, but it does lower the special defensive stats. But the awesome thing is that I actually have Competitive, which is actually going to boost up our special attack. I've actually locked in for an Air Slash here, because if I can outspeed the Goodra, get an Air Slash, I might actually be able to flinch the Goodra. So that's exactly the play here. That's what we're going to hope for. Maybe get some hacks here as we go. Because realistically, the Goodras, they do have a very high special defensive stats. And being a pure special attacker, I really need to get some sort of a flinch or be able to get that boost in that competitive, which is exactly what we got there. So hopefully this will actually help us out. We get the Air Slash off here. It does not flinch. The Dragon Pulse is retaliated, and of course we actually lose our Kilowattrel here, which it's okay at this point. Like, I mean, we've got 2 Pokemon down, they've got 3. We're actually in a very good position. We do have Tauros, we have Dragonite, Gengar, and Arcanine still here onto this team. Pretty much at this point, any one of these Pokemon should be able to dish out some damage, but it's probably better if we go for like a physical attacker. So at this time I decide, you know what, I'm just going to bring out our Dragonite. Now, Dragonite is a Dragon Flying type Pokemon. It should be faster than Goodra. Plus, as well, it should also be able to dish out some actual physical damage to Ooger Booger. What a weird name. Ooger Booger. Oh, man. Here we go with the Dragon Claw. We should be able to knock it out. It should be 2 times effective, which it is. So Goodra goes down, and luckily for us, we still have our Dragonite still onto the field. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I'm not really a big fan of the whole shiny Dragonite scenario. I used to do some texture mods back in the day, and it used to be like blue and white, kind of like Dragonair. I feel like there was some sort of like change in the evolutionary lines there at some time, but they bring in Lucario. Now, of course, Lucario is a steel fighting type Pokemon, so any kind of dragon move that I do here is probably going to be resisted. So Lucario itself, it can be a big threat if it can survive a hit. That's why we're going to go for the Stomping Tantrum. It's super effective to steel types. And of course, luckily for us, we actually get the one-shot. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe in the stream I asked if this was the event Lucario, and I'm pretty sure it was confirmed that it was at the time. So that should have had some pretty decent stats if it was effort valued properly, of course. But that Stomping Tantrum is definitely super effective. He ends up bringing in his Rayquaza, nicknamed Sky Serpent, and of course, you know, us, we're going to lock in for some attack damage here. Hopefully, we'll be able to pick up a KO off onto this Rayquaza, because if not, Rayquaza can be very difficult to take, depending on certain scenarios. As you guys can hear in the background, Meaford's a little bit concerned for the Dragonite, getting the little merps out there. She's been like a shadow to me today. She's just following me everywhere. So here we go. Dragonite coming in, Terrestrialization and Normal. We wanted to be able to resist any kind of massive dragon moves that may be coming in. And of course, we should still have our multi-scale, so we should be able to live at least one hit. There's the Dragon Ascent. That should have been super effective to Dragonite. However, we are a Terra Normal right now, so we actually do resist a little bit because of the whole multi-scale situation. We're going to go in for the Dragon Dance. That's going to be able to boost up our attack stat as well as our speed stat. It's going to be +1 in both categories. So now we can actually then ending up going in for the extreme speed. Realistically, I was actually kind of hoping to be able to pick up the KO with the extreme speed, but not able to do so at this point, but I did want to be able to outspeed the Rayquaza. If I went for the Dragon Claw, I probably would have been knocked out first, because I'm pretty sure Rayquaza is still faster than a +1 Dragonite, but that's okay. Dragon Ascent, of course, picking up the KO off onto the Dragonite there, and that is going to be our third Pokemon knocked out into this singles battle. Next Pokemon that comes in, of course, we can either go for the Arcanine, the Gengar, or the Tauros. Personally, I wanted to go with the Tauros because Tauros is one of my favorite Pokemon here at this time. And the fact that there's 4 different variants of it is pretty impressive. We get the Intimidate, which is going to drop the attack stat of the Dragon Sky Serpent there. And we're going to lock in for some damage. Hopefully, we'll actually be able to attack and be able to resist and move, but he's going to go in for the Dragon Ascent. It's very unlikely that we will survive. We actually get some serious damage off here. That's going to actually pick up the KO, and unfortunately for us, we don't get to use Tauros' match. But we still have 2 Pokemon still remaining on the field. We've got Gengar, we've got Arcanine. Pretty much at this point, I'm going to bring in the Arcanine because it's going to drop the attack stat even further. At this time, I'm going to be honest, guys, I can't remember if Dragon Ascent is physical or special at this time, but we're going to go for the Intimidate situation. We're going to go in for the attack here. There's the Dragon Ascent, of course, coming back into play. That is actually going to do some decent amount of damage to Arcanine, but not enough to be able to pick up the KO. Defenses have fallen on the Rayquaza, and there's the close combat. So that is going to be game, so thank you very much for the match there, Sharkjira. If you guys enjoyed the battle, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up, post your comments, and I'll catch you guys next time.